Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the English news from Djibouti channel. Here are the top stories of our edition. The President of the Republic chaired this morning the inauguration ceremony of the shopping center Al Rayyan District 6. On continental news, the United States calls for peace negotiation with 30 days. Welcome if you join us in Djibouti channels. And now let's get to the details of our news. The President of the Republic chaired this morning the inauguration ceremony of the shopping center in the District 6. The Minister of Muslims Affairs, Culture and Waqf Property organized this morning the official inauguration ceremony of the Rayyan complex, which both a residential area and a shopping center under the management of Diwan Al-Waqf. This complex located at Wallace. It was financed by the Islamic Development Bank on the OEN of a total $10 million or 1,780 million francs. This ceremony was attended by the First Lady and the President of the President of the UNFD, Mrs. Khadra Mahmoud Haid, the Chief Executive Officer of the Islamic Bank for the Development of the Minister of Muslims Affairs and Waqf, Mr. Mumin Hassan Barre, the President of the National Assembly, as well as a member of the government and parliament, the members of the diplomatic corps accredited to in the Republic of Djibouti, representative of international agencies and other local elected representative and ulamas, as well as many civilian and military personality. The President of the Republic has personally inaugurated the residential and commercial complex Al Rayyan. The inaugural ceremony began with a reading of a verse from the Holy Quran by Sheikh Abdurrahman Dandawi. It was followed by the presentations of a sketch and projections of a documentary on the design and implementation of the construction project. It has 4 buildings occupying an area of 5,800 square meters on a plot of 11,000 meters square, where there is a supermarket, some of 36 shops and stores, cold rooms, as well as 2 toilet blocks, all being placed under an air conditioning system. Centralized 2 car parks for stopping vehicles are also being designed. The Diwan Al-Waqf Director, Mr. Ilmi Noor Jama, did not fail to thank the Islamic Bank for development for this financial, which will help the institution to rely on a significant financial resource to carry out these various activities. The Minister of Muslims Affairs and Property Waqf, Mr. Mumin Hassan Barre, delivered a speech in which he first of all thanked the President of the Republic, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, for his sponsorship at this inaugural ceremony of the Rayyan complex of the Diwan Waqf property. The inaugurations of this great project is the fruit of this placed and clean face of our country and our President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, who gives the Waqf property sector special attention thanks to its constant support and encouragement. He stressed, and he added that the development and endowment of social, economic resources and services, the interest that grant the political leaders and the government to develop and strengthen the role of endowment funds in the Djiboutian society is one of our objectives in the realizations of the investment project, which contribute to increase of the volume of the reviews and has the diversifications of mean of income to allow the Diwan Waqf property to wait for its objective in accordance with an ambitious strategic visions, he said. And he added during his speech that the project that we inaugurated today under your patronage, Mr. President, is composed of a shopping center with shops and public facilities and parking for cars. The residential complex, when it's composed of our residential building, he concluded. The President of the Republic speech in turn and stressed the importance of this complex. For more details, let's follow the speech of the President.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. على بركة الله نفتتح اليوم.
Today we inaugurate the Awqaf office, shopping center and residential complex, one of the great achievements that contribute to the developments of the Awqaf sector in our country. We would like to express our gratitude to the Islamic Development Bank, which has funded this project, which still have a positive social and economic impact. We also like to welcome this achievement implemented by the Ministry of Islamic Affairs, Culture and Awqaf. For the development strategy, the government welcomed these trends to invest in the Awqaf through various Islamic financing methods, which have become a form of financing adopted by Islamic financial institutions and banks. On this occasion, we call on the Awqaf to adopt a new vision of strengthening relations of cooperation and partnership with financial institutions and to benefit from the Islamic bank expertise in the development of the Awqaf sector on a modern basis. There is no doubt that the mall and the residential complex will generate significant revenue after the full project cost payment period, and the management of such project will increase the effectiveness of the endowment fund department in the management of project and thus achieve the goals of charitable funds in the community of Djibouti.
For the head of state, there is no doubt that the shopping center and the residential complex will generate significant income after the period of payment of the total costs of the project. Let's follow the second parties of the speech of the President.
أيها الجمع الكريم من دون الشك سوف يكون للمركز التجاري.
Modern management is able to diversify investments and to avoid risk by using trusted consulting firms, which are the best way to invest endowment in accordance with the Sharia regulations. The impact of the Waqf on the economy in the positive aspect of the important contribution to human capital formation and developments will be to help to build infrastructure and create employment opportunities and reduce unemployment, but also increase the commercial activity of the community. With this successful experience, we will be able to count on effective development plans to finance economic and social feasibility projects. I would like to highlight an important point about the Islamic Waqf, which was one of the pillars of the Islamic civilization. We must not forget the importance of reviving the endowment that individuals and benefactors have made in their lives before their arrival. There are those who stop a house, a mosque. All these work remain a good reminder of the statue and the charity of the men who have raised and still remember the names on to this day, thanks to what was left of endowments funds and working for the benefit of mosque and charity, but also justice.
The President stressed during his speech the role of the staffing office will be strengthened at its activity and will be open a new horizon in the field of profitable investment and the acquisitions of advanced expertise in the field of successful management, result and achievement of objectives and effectiveness in source management mechanism and humanity, and to benefit from the Islamic Bank expertise in the development of the Waqf sectors on a modern base.
daranyada inay ka dhabaan ogol waa la soo dhaweynayaa wixii sharafta la siiyeen inay iyaguna ku sharifaan meesha ay ogaadaan inay waxa ay iyaguna ka faa'iideysanayaan in deynkiina la celiyo wixii ka soo baxana loo hayo waqfiga inay tahay inay gartaan weey dalkeennu ha noolaado shacbigeennu ha noolaado assalaamu calaykum waraxmatullah.
The Minister of Justice and Interim Prime Minister Mr. Momin Ahmed and the Ambassador of Saudi Arabia and Djibouti and the Humanitarian Aid Foundation of the Guardian of the Holy Places and the King Abdulaziz bin Salman sponsored this morning conference on the humanitarian role of Saudi Arabia in Yemen. The conference highlighted humanitarian donations from the King Salman Relief and Rescue Center as a modern of international excellence in humanitarian aid. In the case of Yemen, the foundation provided assistance to the needy and affected by the crisis, provided assistance in the areas of safety, health, education, food security, and other. The King Salman Humanitarian Relief has continued to relentless humanitarian effort to alleviate the suffering of the Yemeni people from the beginning. This humanitarian crisis has affected all social strata of the country. It has been provoked by the military. The foundations has worked to put in place projects to improve water supply, environmental sanitation and nutrition, and set up mobile clinics to provide health care to the governor population. This conference hosted the Minister of Justice and Interim Prime Minister Mr. Momin Ahmed Sheikh and the Minister of the Interior Mr. Hassan Omar, as well as the Director General of the King Salman Humanitarian Foundation Dr. Abdullah Al-Rabish, the Director of the UNRWA, Saudi Ambassador to Djibouti, as well as the U.S. Ambassador to Djibouti Mrs. Larry Andre, and various diplomatic corps. The Minister of Interior, Mr. Hassan Omar, indicated during his speech that the activities are based on noble objectives and fundamental humanitarian principles. The purpose of King Salman's foundation is to provide humanitarian aid and help those in need outside the borders of the kingdom. The activity of the center were inaugurated in May 2050 under the partnered and guidance of the Guardian of the two Holy Mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz. After the official speech, a memorandum of understanding was signed. The first memorandum signed has between the Minister of Interior, Mr. Hassan Omar, and the King Abdulaziz bin Salman Foundation for the project of management of the Yemeni refugees camp and the security services in Djibouti. The second was about the humanitarian center of King Salman and the Turkish company Nefka for the operation and maintenance of the Markazi refugee camp. The third and last was between the humanitarian centers King Salman Abdulaziz and the Al-Rahma Hospital Center. In the sixth edition, the Doing Business Report appeared today at 4 p.m. The Republic of Djibouti rise to 99th out of total of 190 countries worldwide. This event celebrated today in the afternoon in the premises of the single desk. This event brought together representatives of the World Bank, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Investment, Mr. Ashkar, as well as the Director of ANB, Mr. Mahdi Darar Absiya, and others who looked forward to the results. Let's recall that the reform undertaken by the countries of the Middle East and North Africa region to improve the business climate have been important according to the last Doing Businesses 2019 report published on Wednesday, October 31, 2018 by the Group of the World Bank. And now let's move to the continental news. U.S. Defense Minister Jim Mattis wants to open peace talks in Yemen within 3 days, a ceasefire that would allow the different parts of the conflict to meet in Sweden. For more details, let's follow this report.
For an end to fighting in Yemen and for peace talks to take place within the next month. Fighting between Iran-backed Houthi rebels and the host Yemen government, supported by a Saudi-led coalition, has been ongoing in Yemen for 3 years, intensifying the crisis that began with a revolution in 2011. The conflict has resulted in what has been described by the UN as the world's worst humanitarian crisis, with officials recently warning that the country now faces the prospect of famine. Thousands of civilians have died during the war, with causes of death ranging from a strike to starvation.
Here we are at the end of this news today. Thank you for watching, our dear viewers, and have a good night.